Yeah, I invented a new pose today. I invented a new pose in hot yoga problems. It's called the Half Pentacle. Look it up. It doesn't exist, but soon it shall, and it will become my legacy. What is the Half Pentacle, you say? Well, it's built on an existing pose called the Pentacle Pose, not the pentagram. That would be bad. That would be a little satanic. We don't get up early to sweat nuts off and worship Satan. That's not what it's about. It's pentacle, like tentacle, with a P. And it's usually, I don't know how it hit me today. In Shavasana, that's the last pose of class, the corpse pose. That's where you want to be, my friends. You want to be in a Shavasana, basically, for the entirety of your existence in that room. But we're laying there in Shavasana, and the yogi says, hey, we have a lot of room here today. Why was there a lot of room? I'll tell you about that in a second. That's a good one. We had a lot of space. If you want to spread out, you can put your arms over your head like a starfish. And that's called the pentacle pose. Not the pentagram, the pentacle. Yeah. But I happen to be in the corner of the room today, as I typically do. Because yes, I like to scout out the best possible spot in the far corner, tucked away where no one can, witness the greatness and the sloth and the disaster that unfolds. I like to be in the corner, man. I like to have my back up against the wall so I can see what's ahead of me, Now, I can't see anything because I don't have my glasses on for the class. But bottom line is, I'm in there. But you can't do a pentacle pose because of the wall. You can only do it on one half of your body. So I was going to be just in straight up Shavasana for like the last couple minutes of class. And then I realized I have this moment to innovate, to disrupt, to transform hot yoga practice and leave my mark, my legacy, my lore, my legend on this discipline. And yes, I did create it. So I was with my right arm above my head and my left arm to my side. The Half Pentacle Pose is mine. I am declaring it on this day. What is today? It's a Saturday. It's December. That happened fast, didn't it? Things really started moving. It's December 6th, okay? Book it! This day in history. On a cold and snowy morning in Ballston, Virginia, Core Power Studio, 6 a.m. No, it was 8 o'clock. It's Saturday. It's not a normal weekday. It was still the early class, right? C2 in the corner, Studio 1. A young legendary yogi named Raffety left us with the most remarkable innovation in this discipline we've seen since the, fallen angel or whatever. That's what we were trying to do in class. By the way, yes, so it is my legacy, the Half Pentacle. You can thank me later. I do think I'm now unaligned for the rest of the day. Because if you lay out like this for a couple minutes and you don't get a chance to balance it out on the other side, I don't know, dude. I don't think it's going to last. I think it's going to throw me off all day. I'm going to be walking with a hunch or a slump. So maybe it's not such a good idea. Here's the thing, though. For all of the doubters and naysayers, for the Hot Yoga Problems podcast, it's actually the Raff's Brain podcast, Hot Yoga Problems channel or stream of content. Thank you for being here, my tens of loyal listeners. I want you to know, even if you don't do hot yoga, you can learn something and you can try something. And what I want you to do, even if you do hot yoga, if you don't, doesn't matter. I just want you to understand the extraordinary thing that I created today. I want you to experience it. So take a moment if you can, get some space in your room, lay out on the ground, on your back. Now, if you lay on your back with your palms up and your feet kind of spread out a little bit and you just relax, that's the Shavasana. That's like your standard way to end class. You receive all the goodness from your practice, I guess. I don't know, something like that. But today, the pentacle pose, this is really hard, and I would say actually uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. You could try it yourself. take your arms and put them over your head. Lay on your back with your legs down, your arms over your head like a starfish, as that's the description that the yogi uses, the instructor. I think a good, if I do that pose, and I've done that pose a few times before, 30, 45 seconds in, my arms are getting tingly. My blood and my circulation is cut off. I'm just not very flexible. My shoulders aren't used to doing that, Which means you should probably be doing more of it. That means you are in trouble, son. You should be able to raise your arms and lay down like that. It shouldn't be painful. So there's something going on. My shoulders are too tight. I just want you to experience it. Now I want you to do it with one arm up. It could be your left or the right. Today it was the right. Next week, maybe it'll be the left. Who knows? We need to continue to work on this. We need to work on this pose. There's a lot of potential here. It could become my thing. It could become what I'm known for, What else do I have in life at this point? What else do I want to talk about? Why was the class so lightly attended this morning? Well, let me tell you that. I live in Northern Virginia, Arlington, right outside our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And it's a tough town, everyone's got like brass knuckle politics and all that type of stuff. Yes, there's some degree of sharp elbows, very, how do we say, like hubris, personalities. People are posturing and everyone's putting up a front. But I have to tell you, this town, when it comes to weather, it is soft, dude. Soft. They cancel everything at the drop of a hat. I'm kind of shocked they didn't close the studio down. I'm glad they didn't. Hats off to the owners and, yogis at Core Power. They pushed through. But it snowed here the past couple days. And we got at this point, there's nothing on the roads. There's maybe an inch. It's like a dusting. And anyway, people freak out when the weather even just barely turns here. And I think what happened is a lot of people just don't show up. It's like a great excuse to not get out of bed, to not maintain the practice. Oh, it's snowing. Now, in their defense, I get it. I was kind of like this close to packing it in and not making it because my car had snow on it. And I forgot about that. I didn't plan ahead well. I rolled out at 7:30 to get in my car and go to the studio. And I'm like, oh man, I forgot. There's snow all over my car. And because I was lazy and didn't clean it off yesterday, it melted a little bit and then it refroze overnight. And then that's a bad situation. Who's been there? Yes, we've all been there. The ice is really crunchy on the window, so I had to let the car run. I don't have one of those scrapers. I didn't want to. It's kind of I let it warm up for 5 minutes. Truth be told, I did one of those maneuvers where, hey, I only got to go 2 miles, okay? So I'm just gonna use all of the washer fluid, because the washer fluid does kill the ice. It is, there's some type of chemical in there that zaps it, but it's not like you got a really great clean window, but you got enough. And I can make it to the parking garage. I can roll in there while I'm getting practice on. Presumably some of the snow will melt, which it did. I can see a lot better now. That's the laziest maneuver. I'm not proud of it. I'm just honest about it. But here's the thing. I showed up. They say in yoga and many things in life, the hardest part is showing up. Now that's a complete lie. It's a fabrication. The hardest part is the side crow that we got into today, to fallen angel, which I couldn't even begin to execute. So that's the hardest part of yoga. It's the peak pose of class, typically. Don't lie to me and say it's it's the hardest part is getting here. But what they mean by that is true. It's not the actual truth, it is the intention behind it, which is you've got to actually put yourself into the arena of distress to get any benefit from the practice. And so many of us just find ways and excuses in life to not execute, even poorly. We just don't even try, and that's pathetic. It's lame, and we should therefore pat ourselves on the back just for showing up. Now, I don't want to go that far, because if you start doing that, it's like, well, I showed up, I'm just going to phone it in, and therefore, I don't know, is that a good mentality? I don't think so. I'm not a fan. So I will repeat the mantra that the hardest part of yoga is showing up, but I also will disbelieve it, and I won't perpetrate it. And I'll say it to someone, but then I'll have to go through this like lengthy explanation like I'm doing for you. And I think we all can agree that there's truth in that. Finally, I do want to acknowledge the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's my team, okay? And we're under some distress right now. Let's be honest. If you follow football to any, stretch, you probably know, especially if you're in the sort of, greater Pittsburgh, West Virginia, north central West Virginia area, we're facing some struggles, man. We're in trouble. The AFC North is just a fascinating division, and it's like nobody wants to win it. Of course, they all want to win it. And I said, this is not, when I woke up and I have different like toboggans or caps. What do we call them? I call them a toboggan. That's what I called them growing up. I think there is some dispute. Some people call these things toboggans. Some people call them wool caps. Some people call them beanies, I think. I don't even know where that comes from. It's a toboggan, folks. A toboggan can also be a sled, but in this case, it is a cap, and it's a beanie, and it's all those three. It's all the above. And I got a variety of them, and I broke out the Steelers one this morning. Why? This is the time that we need to display the colors, man, the logo. Let people know that we believe in the team. Now, do I really believe in the team? I mean, if you ask me in a state of like reason and calculation and thoughtfulness, no, I think we're in deep doo-doo, and I don't think it's going to go well. But part of being a fan means you just don't even think rationally. It's all fanatical. That's the abbreviation. It's like fan stands for something. Fanatic. Fanatics are crazy. They are delusional. They are committed. They're loyal. And that loyalty doesn't waver in times of distress. So, I get a little annoyed by all the hate and venom, because Steelers fans, we're so, we expect such greatness, and we want to fire Tomlin and, bench this guy and, give the rookie a shot. All those things are possible. And I mean, we could have more sober conversations about them. All I'm saying is we're going to play the Ravens on Sunday. They're probably, on paper, a superior team, but I still think we could beat them, and that'll be exciting if we did. And yes, I want my team to succeed. Now, some people have like this long game idea. We need to have a bad year so we can draft higher in the draft, get a quarterback or the future, blah blah blah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not happy with the mediocrity. I'd like to be better, but I'm not going to dwell on the negative. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to support this fan, black and gold, through and through. There is no abandoning it. You can't just divorce that loyalty. It is ingrained within my psychology. So don't pretend that like I'm just going to walk away. What am I going to do? I'm going to start liking the Browns. I'm going to start liking the Broncos. I'm going to start liking the Dolphins. No, I don't have any loyalty to those teams. I have no reason to be interested in anyone other than the black and gold. So I want them to succeed, and I'll get emotionally ratcheted and up and down depending on how they perform, because that's what I do. That's what fans do. Let's try to be optimistic and positive about the potential rather than realistic and pessimistic. And I don't know, that's just my own take on the situation. Am I happy with it? No. I think it's probably headed to a catastrophe, if you really ask me. If you put a gun to my head, which you shouldn't do, it's just football. I mean, why would we have to raise the stakes to that degree? I would tell you, though, if it was like life and death, I don't know, man. It doesn't look good. But sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. Is that what they say? Usually it's darkest in the middle of the night, especially if the clouds are out and the moonlight is not penetrating and you're not in a place that has a lot of light pollution. It's kind of dark, but you can see the stars, and that's kind of nice. So that saying doesn't really hold up under scrutiny, in my opinion. But go Steelers. Let's take down the Ravens, the dirty birds. Why not? Why wouldn't I want that to be the outcome? Or some people are like, let's get smashed because the worse this year ends, the more likely it is that we have it. I just say, here's what I will tell you. And again, I'll shut up here, but I had to go a little bit of a rant. I actually believe sometimes we as Pittsburgh fans are so spoiled and lucky and fortunate to have all of the success we've had over our lives. You got the Steelers in the 70s, the Pirates in the 70s, of course, the 60s Pirates. You had, the 60 Pirates, 70 Steelers, 80s were kind of lean, let's be honest. 90s Penguins, 90s Steelers got better. Obviously, 2000s Steelers crushed, won a couple Super Bowls. I mean, the Penguins are insane. How can we not just be appreciative of what we have? That is rare. That is unusual. Our expectations are way too high. I know that we have high standards and hopes for our team, but I promise you, there are many, many, many other cities in America that would cut off their arm to have the types of hardware that we have. And so let's just take stock of that for a moment. Dial it back. We're going to be okay. We might not win the Super Bowl, or we might go to the AFC Championship. Who knows? Or we might not even make the playoffs. That's why it's fun. The uncertainty. If you could predict it, if it made sense, we wouldn't be invested and we wouldn't pay attention, right? There's drama in real life unknowns. And, on any given Sunday, you never know what's going to happen. So go Steelers. Let's win this game. Let's just win out the season. Put all the doubters to rest. Let's roll to the playoffs, dominate. There's no one that's really great in the AFC. And if we can get on a roll and play our best and maybe get a couple lucky breaks, you never know where we could end up. So how's that? How's that? A little optimism. It's unbridled, it's unfounded, it's not grounded in reality. But join me in that, because that's what it's all about. Okay? Irrational exuberance. That's why we're fans. All right. Thanks for joining me. Hot yoga problems are a beautiful thing. We'll see you again next time on Raff's Brain. Until then, namaste, mofos.